there is great potential for a couple of these players to really take over. So very, very curious to see how things are going to go down. God's Reign, I'm behind him. You know, you're on SGGT, so it's gonna be curious. It's gonna be very, very curious here to see how things pan out. But we are ready for Anubis.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well as we're heading towards map number 1 to see what we've got cooking here. God's Reign taking on SGGT. This is lower bracket, so there is no room for error. You lose here, you're out. It's as simple as that. So let's get this show on the road. God's Reign are going to start on that T side as well, so they do get the arguably preferential start, and we'll see whether that works in their favor. Oh, slow start though. First fight in towards E-Box has got to be pretty important. It doesn't go the way of SGGT.
Oh, Defen. Yeah, not much he can really do inside the site, unfortunately. None of the support working out here for SGGT, so it has been an absolute obliteration of this B-bomb site. Not a single kill comes in. It will be 3. And it's very, very clean in the end from God's Reign. Really impressive stuff, and nothing too deep to it, ultimately. Fired up, looking incredible there. And, yeah, SGGT just unable to match.
Yeah, worrying as well how easy it was just to kind of push away that CT side and not really have to contend too much for the site itself. So, not exactly the early signs that we wanted to see from the CT side, and see whether things change for the better or for the worse, but ultimately that was not exactly what we wanted to see. Singy, up close, the Eagle spotted 1. No, he's, yeah, looking in towards the wall and he'll die. That might have been a bit of a ping issue there, if I'm being honest.
It is potential. We have spoke about this maybe being an issue. Might try and grab some info on that for you guys if we can. I don't rightly know what the server infrastructure is like out that side of the world. You know, what, like, city or country they'll be looking to get a server in. Who knows? Maybe we do some kind of 50-50 type thing where it's like, you get a good server on your map, we get a good server on our map. Yeah. How about
that? That generally might be it. I've seen that happen before, so honestly, don't get that. That might actually be the vibe behind it. Mac 10 going to come in and clean up a couple at the end, and, well, it's just a couple of upgraded pistols. So this is a round that really never got going. Didn't maybe expect it to get going, but it was a force buy coming through from SGGT that did absolutely nothing ultimately. So, in itself, it's going to put them on the back foot to start off this map quite significantly, for being honest.
Yeah, this is looking very, very good for God's Reign. Straight out of the gate, super confident, super quick. Everything that we expected from them is just working right now. So, very impressive, and yeah, it may well be set to continue. This is going to be a massive springboard on that T side.
Okay, well, this round, unfortunately, more of the same, where there's not a lot in terms of our expectations coming through. But I guess that is another notch on the force buy spreadsheet.
Yep.
That is now for Asia. 5 successful, 15 failed. So, not the greatest of numbers there, that's for sure. Pop shots in towards mid. Not doing all too much. 1 back donut. Revan going to find the first, and yeah, lovely nade there from Bavi.
Yeah, big touchdown. Good to see. And I think if they can, again, continue to keep these rounds clean, would be fantastic for them. Finn with a nice peek. Bomb going down on A. So round definitely going to be over. But as I say, it's all about keeping things deathless for God's Reign. And I think that should be the case. We've got the Deagles hanging on. They're looking to be flanked out eventually. The fights will come their way. There's a good sort of spot here for Defen, but as I say, Husky got no idea at all. I like Defen's position here, and there you go. There's the 1 head taken down. There is no one around to get that rifle, so that's your damage done. Oh, doing their best. Doing their best. And they will actually get it. So there you are. Fair enough. Fair enough. They work it out, and they retrieve that rifle. It's an upgrade off the Mac 10 for Finn. Not a bad result in the end, I suppose.
Okay. Well, This is the round for me that really has to go quite positively, I think, over to the SGGT side. I mean, with how things have been going so far, not looking all that competitive in the grand scheme. 3-0. Rifles back out. It's a bonus buy for God's Reign, and one that you'd sort of expect to be put to the wayside quite easily by SGGT, but we've seen them struggle for the most part when it comes to just raw Angels. Lame. Right idea. Shadow spotted. There's the first. Looks for the second, and then changes to his pistol, and that'll cost his life. And then same with Sanj as well. He'll just drop out. So both of them probably could have doubled down, but they just get one, and they change. They quick switch, and it cost them their lives.
Yeah, that's a little awkward. Maybe some nerves coming into play. I think, honestly, it's a great setup. Like, with the shadows and everything, it's just so nice. So I think you really have to just commit to it. And they might have come away with a solid 2 or 3. Not the case. Now they're mounting the retake. Not the best start, but Defen will trade out 1. In comes the flank as well. And Husky catches them reloading, catches them unaware. So they have managed to nick it off the back of the flank that just was not being contended for at all. Despite a dodgy start for SGGT, they will get it over the line. Yeah,
it could be said, nice recovery, I think is the way to go about it. But honestly, you know, 3 kills on a bomb plant and a bonus fire like that, I don't think God's Reign are too upset about how that round sort of gone. I think they'll take it. It's one in which they're not even expected to win, so that they even get close is... That's not the worst thing in the world. And then, of course, they come back into an absolutely full-flesh buy-in towards the next. AWP out as well for Revan. A bit to work with heading in towards the next round, where on the other side, they don't have the ability for the AWP just yet. God's Reign, they can answer right back. They just put the pressure immediately on towards SGGT out the gates. And it will actually really hurt the recon again. Probably to the point where they, I'd assume, can't buy.
A little dodgy here. A little bit dodgy. Really important round in the early proceedings. Edge of the smoke business for Haskier. It's a risky position, if I'm being honest. He will drop away as that smoke starts to go down. The AWP goes searching and finds success. Big kill here for God's Reign. They've gotta find that pressure towards middle now off the back of the kill. You do have Lame here holding it down, so if they're going for it, they've got to go properly. They're only sending the 1 man in. Barbie has timed it ever so slightly. Not sure if Lame maybe caught him on the minimap, maybe saw a shadow. He does seem prepared for an attack to come his way, but there's not much that he's going to be able to do with this smoke in the way now.
A bit of a top position. R2V2 will get caught as well. Sanj goes down, and Finn are fired up. They'll combine quite well. 2 versus 4. SGGT, they might actually just save it. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. That bomb goes down. There's just no way we're giving this a look in. For a moment, it felt like there was a chance there. For the CT side, they just got their fights right, but they don't. They falter. They fall flat, and that'll be God's Reign answering back. And like we said, by answering back like that, it does put a bit of pressure on the shoulders. I mean, with 2 save, they might squeeze out some level of a buy around it, but either way, not a good position. If Defen was to fall here, for example, on this fight, it would change things. It's labored, but Defen wins it out.
Bomb goes off. We will have the saves come through, and I think pretty important for SGGT. You touched on the econ of the game in general, but yeah, theirs was not in a good spot. Those saving guns make all the difference now, so that they can mount another buy. But God's Reign being right back on the board on the T side, you know, is a really, really good sign for them.
Yeah,
that they do have a solid game behind them, and maybe getting a little unlucky off the back of the flank in that lost round. So, yeah, this should be very, very important once again for SGGT to just stay on them and hopefully get another round.
Lame breaks open the smoke. Nice boost it. Husky he spots up the 3rd player, so it's a little late, and that actually cost both of his teammates his life, and it will ultimately end his too. Tough. Tough to say the least, because if he had spotted the first, they would have been able to set up for that, but because of the third player in, as he gets flashed, I mean, it just gives them so little to work with. Lame, flashed, dropped, and another great round from God's Reign. This is very rapidly falling out of contention for SGGT.
Yeah, not great, right? You want to have some kind of a contest in this follow-up round and at least bring it close. You know, saving the previous is potentially something you could call a contest, but with that one falling apart completely, you go into the half and then you go into another really important full buy. So, yeah, this could get really one-sided really fast. I think God's Reign already hitting a pretty nice round count early into the first half. Yes, it is the T side, and you expect them to do well, but they've given themselves a really good buffer to work with here.
It's true. It's very true. They just look super solid at the moment. Revan holding over towards E-Box. Maybe a little bit of push out of AMA in a second, so do need to be sort of careful. B2 is holding it for a second. Not that commitment. Molotov will tip the toes of Lame, and he just sits behind it and waits. This is a bit of a weird buy, so again, probably not expecting a lot. God's Reign, I think you've already touched it. They've done really well in the early part of this game to just make it so comfortable.
Haskia, still around with this 5-7, could do some decent damage. Molotov comes his way. He doesn't quite push him out. Oh my goodness, he's in between two fires here. Losing his teammates. I think they're going to be aware. One of his toes definitely touched that fire and made some noise. Nice find from Zingy. Is it really going to make much of a difference? Like I say, they're very much aware now of Haskia. Zingy finds another. 5-7 gets a dink, but it's out of range for the one tap. So we have something to be a bit excited about there, but nothing to worry about on the God's Reign side of things. Into another buy now. This is where it gets important.
Yeah, exactly that. This one has to go well. If it doesn't, once again, we reiterate the point of how things have been very unfortunate and uncomfortable in the grand scheme for this AGG side. I mean, if God's Reign get, I think 7 would be good, like as a general rule of thumb. T-side map, getting a bit of a benefit on the T-side, but if they push further, if God's Reign get anywhere 8 or more, I mean, already at that point, we're getting to an incredibly worrying position. So, we'll see. Nice opening shot there as well. Just above that smoke.
Revan's been looking really good on this AWP, man. You know, searching frags, these openers, very brave to go for them, and not much support, just abusing those common angles, really. So SGGT, maybe something for them to consider is that they just have to be careful with their shoulder peaks, with their posting up, as it were. I think we'd still argue, in a sense, it is a form of peaking. So hide away from the AWP. They're looking to regain mid-control here. Very over-aggressive rotation. It would be the wrong guess as well. They went for mid, they went for A. They were banking on that. Not going to be the case. Bomb's making its way out B, and I don't know, man. You're pretty late to this party. They do have a lot of utility to try and mount something, but if you don't get a kill in the sort of first 10 seconds of all this, I think you do just have to save, especially with that kill now coming in. This has got to be a pullback. Take what you have into the next round. Reluctantly, albeit. But they're still going to go for this one now. Still going to give it a good try. Yeah, just too many bodies around, unfortunately. Not much you can do about that. We've seen enough Counter-Strike in our time to know that you're just not going to win that one.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of one of those question marks of why are we going for a round like that? Just because, I mean, I guess probably there's the thought process of we need to take a gamble, we need to take a risk and hope things are going to work out in our favor. But I don't know, really felt like it was unlikely, to say the least, in that situation. And ultimately, that was exactly the case. 7-1. There's no competition here. It's ultimately quite a sad showing, isn't it? We're just not seeing enough. Anything that has given us any sort of an inkling of what this side have got up to offer, especially off the back of what was not a terrible season. I do like the bit of aggression here, though. At the very least, that's something, because it will net an opening kill. Fired up, going to get caught.
Finn up for a few trades here. He plays his cards right. Him and Barbie going to hold things down nicely. Looked a bit worrying for a second, maybe if they got their hands onto that gun. Could have been dangerous. Ooh, not going to be the case. We are having a few nice shots out in places from the SGGT players, but just unable to really put up the wall that we need to see from this CT side. And it is also curious, you know, you talk about the season. I also look into the decision here that they started off on the CT side, which is a bit more conventional. Maybe could have done them some good to get on the T side, though. I think it's maybe a weird argument, clutching at straws, just because they are really down on the rounds here. But starting off a series where you can direct the game and just sort of take the fights against a team that you're not too familiar with, it can be a nice feeling, and particularly on a map that favors that T side. But not the case, and now they might have, unfortunately, an insurmountable task going into the second half.
It's true. This is really difficult. I wouldn't mind seeing a pause as well, just for SGGT, just to take a bit of a breather. It just feels like they're relentlessly running into every single round and sort of dying, and then just be like, all right, cool, let's just do it again. Like, there's no change up. We're not seeing them really try and make their opponent uncomfortable. They're just going for the same old, and hoping things will change. And it's, you know, in a sort of negative way, relentlessly poor. I mean, where we've been, God's Reign, they're sort of doing everything right. You can't ask anything else of them.
Oh. Yeah, catching the aggression. And they seem to have a solid read on the game as well as hitting the shots. Widespread default watching for aggression. They're ready for any kind of moves that SGGT are bringing. That's a bit of a nice one, though. Flash comes in. Lame finds success, and he goes untraded. It has been a quiet game out from a lot of these individuals, so it's always good to see them finding a kill and able to keep themselves alive. It's just a question of whether God's Reign can now work in the 4v4.
Yeah, big one. Like, gotta go back over towards that slightly strong angle and towards the side, but it very commonly gets smoked out. So it's not really about sort of that angle itself. It's about how you adjust to the angle once it gets nullified. Defen. Back Platz, not spotted anything just yet. A timing play. Molotov will come over. He'll drop a nade as well, but what he wanted towards the pillar, and that'll cost him his life. In towards E-Box. The jump up does actually cost Fired Up, but Finn's there for the trade. The answer back from Lame. Oh, and the timing on the peak was brilliant. Revan was posted, pulls out a bit of U-turn, and that's when the swing comes through.
Chaotic, definitely chaotic for SGGT, but it is no matter. They just need that round. They just need to get them over the line. They've done very, very well there, to be fair. After an unsuccessful start, it's recovered back by a middle and some individual heroics. A good angle here. You know, there was a smoke available. They opted to use it towards Temple instead. So, indeed, a 50-50 decision goes their way, but they have capitalized very, very well. It's all about now this recovery, and it still is arguably recoverable, as 4 rounds on the CT side is not the worst in the world. Lame trying to get active here. Not going to happen for him. Just eventually caught out in the open after a couple missed shots. Maybe needed to bounce back. Molotov doesn't quite land through the doors. We've all been there. But an opener for God's Reign is a great start.
Zingy holding, and he might be tested in a second as well. Quiet start in towards this round off the opener. No response from SGGT to try and get really active and get up in their face. Yeah, still very quiet. They're have called for a freeze, and they're not done anything for the last 20, 30 seconds, just waiting.
Yeah, really moving things slowly. It's a little against the grain for God's Reign. Zingy can't quite land the shot. Still will have an opportunity to take another peek if he so chooses. Meanwhile, in towards A main, there is now pressure, so they just kind of have to wait for this flank to come in, and yeah, Zingy can't exist in two places at once. He will fall without finding a frag, unfortunately. So the save for the remaining two, say, GG players, and just unable to get themselves off the ground, man. The one or two, well, ultimately sporadic rounds, like the fact that they can't string them together is just not ideal. And as I mentioned in the previous, I think it was also the case in that first round for them. They are getting slightly lucky in their one rounds.
It's true. It is true. And I think the big issue is not even when they are getting lucky. It's just the fact that they're just so flash in the pan, right? They get one and lose the next two. It's like there's no one step forward, 2 or 3 steps back is sort of every single round from SGGT. I mean, we're already, 9-2 already. It's pretty insane. A good couple of exits would be lovely, but yeah, I don't know. What is the play here? What is the plan? How do we see this SGGT side recover? I really just feel like it's super, super unlikely.
Yeah, I think it's looking tough. It is looking very, very tough. I always err on the side of caution in these games, in this region, just because a crazy comeback certainly could happen, but it does feel like SGGT are a little out of sorts. Zingy with one of the plays of all time, just kind of flying in and gets taken down early. There's some good damage traded back here, but they have not been able to find that return kill. God's Reign sit with the advantage and should be able to roll into the latter stages of this round. Finn in a really good spot here as well, and it just gets better and better as the numbers keep up. Askia has been maybe the only individual to match up on a semi-consistent basis. Revan bails his teammate out there, and it is all down to Askia. Keeps the kills coming, but they're just going to avoid him, go and plant on the other side of the map, and ultimately force him into the unfavorable 1v3. But it's not impossible now. He could do this.
It's true. He's got a belt of Util around him. Molly flash nade, but he's just being held. I don't think he even clears the first. It's such an off angle this late, and it will be 10-2 at the half. It's nice and simple from God's Reign. We'll see if they can continue it, but it'll have to be, of course, after the break.
Welcome back in here, folks. Feels like this one might be a quick finish, but we shall see. Say GG, not their pick, in all fairness. Got that Mirage coming up next. It's a relatively decent map from God's Reign, as far as we understand it. Certainly one that they approach, one that they play on the HLTV officials. So you do want to be proving yourself as a team, proving yourself as an opponent here to God's Reign. They are clearly not messing around now. The BO1s maybe a bit tougher for them, but as the BO3s have come out, they have control of the veto. Fired up, unable to find that first. It was an A stack out here from God's Reign as well, so there's no one around to stop that bomb going down. Only 4 of them remain for the retake. Defen that first line of defense here, ready for multiple targets to come his way, but the Julies worming their way in is what they are after. Finn wins his fight on the backside as well, locates another. So it's a 3v3 with some good information here. Unfortunately, they can't play around the post plants. And with the combined HP of 25, you surely just have to back away. It's reluctant for sure, but you need to save. There's nothing that can be done. Take some armor into the next round for Finn, I suppose. And Barbie covers his escape, in theory. Looks good here. Say GG will manage to get that pistol and buy themselves a lifeline.
Finn. Consolations. Oh, it gets pretty close to the second there. But yeah, good round. I mean, super needed round from Say GG, if I'm being completely honest. Just because this is a side who offered up basically nothing in that first half. I mean, it was such a poor performance from them that it actually needs to be a complete turnaround. So that's a lot better. A quick play, you know, right in towards the engagements, and they just set the tone probably in towards this half in the best possible way they can. But the big thing is, Griff, that this needs to be now consistent.
Yeah, absolutely right, and that's something that massively escaped them in the first half. A 1-for-1 trade in towards mid. R2's got a chance here, and he will indeed take it. That's an AK retrieved. So a dangerous look, a very dangerous look indeed. A lot of information for God's Reign as they have pushed forwards. 5-7 doesn't quite find success. Bomb is bailing. MP9 does win its fight, and surely he's got to hear the footsteps soon. He's forced into the fight, unfortunately will go down. It's a crazy kind of round, but I think that's what God's Reign wanted, and you have to bear in mind, massive amounts of damage done with these kills, of course. Bomb going to go down. B2's moving in through dark, and he is unfortunately smoked off. There was a kit available. He's not taking that route to pick the kit up. He's just going to try and make the cheekiest play possible straight through that smoke. Don't expect him this soon, but he's got 2 to find in a B main. Not going to be easy. First comes, second, he just cannot lock down. Defen's done well to keep it afloat for Say GG. Would have been a real kick in the teeth if they lost that.
Yeah, that would have been a really awkward one. But not a bad effort on the other side, it has to be said. But once again, you know, a smile on my face with a failed force buy. So we love to see it. That's now up to 16. But it's got to be said, that one was very, very close. Very nearly. I takes the fight so well. In the end, well, it will be 10-4. No buy here for God's Reign. Say GG should find the 5th without breaking too much of a sweat. So we're talking about the in routes to how they're going to make this game possibility. It's going to take a lot. It's really going to require something quite special, but so far, this is all we can ask of them. Find a little bit of consistency, start opening up in towards this game a little bit, and get your individuals online too.
The young stack on A. Will it see any action at all? Potentially. Looks like they'll probably make a move towards A with this mid control. So, you never know. They are awkwardly split off. Ooh, Deagle frag here.
Bomb.
Okay.
Bomb roll forward.
R2, B2, dropping the bomb, dropping 2 heads, and all of a sudden, in come the ants. They picked up an AK, trying to defend that bomb as well. Meanwhile, out towards A. I mean, I like the setup here from God's Reign, not fully committing everybody. USP finds a double dinker. What is going on, man? Only 2 remain here. It's definitely still recoverable because of the low armor, but unfortunately, just too many bodies around. Harvey recovers that AK. They're ready for Haskia. He's made a few footsteps here, so they know about him. But yeah, getting that bomb back is going to be so tough now. He has to thin the numbers a little as well, I think, before he picks this bomb up. He will get it. He's going to pick up the pace. He's
Oh
not ready
my
for this
God.
angle. And my goodness, what a round coming in from R2B2.
It was an eco. One Deagle investment. How have they walked away with that round? They have no right to do so. And that's where, once again, we have to just look at this situation, just like, how are we losing these sort of rounds and what's going wrong and where is this mental block in a sense over towards the side? I mean, this is a pretty dire position that we're kind of putting ourselves in. But yeah, that was a really uncomfortable showing. Ultimately, tough predicament that we're in. And yeah, I mean, sadly, just nothing seems to be going right for SGGT. Looks like it might be a pop, a relatively quicker pop over towards A, but they met with a Molotov. Flash does miss, so B2, he just goes against it and says, yeah, for now, no. I'll fall away.
B2 holding behind the site. This is a dangerous kind of spot for him. The flashes are good, though. I'm not quite sure where they've come from, but they have indeed helped him out to find a couple there. In comes the rest of the team to hopefully recover things up. They nearly get to double from behind there, by the way. So much damage done, but could not quite find the frags. So their contingency plan may well have just fallen apart, unfortunately. Zingy with a nice spray down. Ooh, right idea in the smoke. Okay, he's finding them quickly. They've got to be careful here. Revan comes around the corner with a quick scope, but that looked dangerous for a moment.
Had a brief situation where it felt a little on edge, but yeah, ultimately now we are in towards map point for God's Reign on their map pick, and unbelievably easier. 12-4. SGGT, look at the buy they've got to will to potentially keep them afloat. It feels so unlikely. Mac 10 is the best space that they can bring to the table. It's a really tough predicament.
Fired up. Good position to be in here. It's a very solid setup. Finn can't quite help out, and that has let him down ever so slightly. Revan tries for one of his classic quick scopes. Doesn't work this time around, so SGGT have forced the issue on B and might just get away with it. Yeah, we're potentially just dropping back at this point. It's a save angle, so it will be a 5th round. It will be an extension of the game. Setup looked good, but I think Finn just really missed his shots, and yeah, that allowed them to overwhelm the bomb site.
Yeah, quicker play. I think that's probably the best way to go about it when you've got that sort of a buy. Just go for a quick run and hope you can overwhelm. And they do a very good job of that. Orb collected. AKM4 and B2 will get cleared. Like you said, extension of the game, but a buy back in for God's Reign. So I guess not the end of the world for them. 12-5. SGGT, unfortunately, I've offered up so little. I do wonder, maybe there's something we can find out in between the maps as well about sort of what the ping is actually looking like. Because very commonly when you have a series like this where there's quite, a difference in terms of that. Oh, just being told everybody's on 70. So actually not as bad as I thought. I've casted a couple of teams before where it's, for example, that, one team is on, they're quite far away from each other, and the way they agree is on your map pick you have the better ping, and then on their map pick you have the worst ping. So I wasn't sure it was one of those, but yeah, everybody on about 70
space in
ping.
the middle.
Yeah, they found somewhere server that neatly is directly in between the both of them. So that's actually it's pretty good. So is it just fair? I mean, God's Reign, they're just winning them out these fights. I mean, it did look at times where SGGT looked like the ping was a little high, but maybe they're just bad.
I mean, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I had a bit of a line cooking as well. I was like, one man in the middle of Siberia has just booted up the oldest server, slap bang in the middle. Not been called upon for a long time. But yeah, maybe they are indeed bad at Anubis. Let's give them that at the very least.
Yeah.
I suppose. Hopefully some improvements into the next map. And, once it's flipped over to the T side, there's a little more get up and go from the team. And they are finding some more favorable fights, I think. Husky is doing a lot of the work here. Zingy's stepped up into the T side as well. And obviously they have managed to take this round off the back of the aforementioned individuals. So keeping the dream alive for sure. God's Reign struggling on the CT side. They just have so much room to work with. And then, of course, winning an absolutely ridiculous eco round certainly helps your case.
They're doing a really good job, I think, of just making sure that this game and the conversation around it is not done just yet. Very, very solid work coming through. At least with 3 save, though, God's Reign, similar thing. They just buy right back in as long as 3 just stay alive, and they do. So it's fine. It's a really uncomfortable spot, I think, for God's Reign, just because they had so much ease all the way throughout this game. And now for the first time, they've had to actually kind of pump the brakes a tad. So we will actually get a attack pause out from them. And even right in saying, I think this is the first attack pause the entire game, because SGGT just didn't bother calling one at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It is true. It does feel as well that God's Reign are not coming to sort of mess around. They've put a lot of work in. That T side did look good. They had really, really solid sort of bounce back rounds, some great reads, some great yeah, just set ideas for like, okay, we've lost a round, our general game plan isn't working, we've got to change things up. So that is, again, something that can be missing from some of the teams in the region from time to time. So it's great to see a tactical approach. It's great to see some full respect here as well. It's 12-6. There are a lot of teams in EU Tier 2 that wouldn't call a timeout at this kind of scoreline. So
it's true.
Really, really well done from them to gather their bearings and hopefully close the game out sooner rather than later.
Zingy, boosted. Molotov come down, so that forced Bavy away. Bavy, I would say, he stuck around maybe a little bit too long there. He's down to 13. Sanj, he's trying to get some space. I mean, he will get E-Box control because God's Reign are just opting against fighting for it.
Harvey hanging out here. Oh, going to be required now as well. They've lost that AWP. Oh, that's not gone too well for God's Reign. Lame's just eliminated them all by himself, pretty much. He did have support for sure, but yeah, really, really great setup. They now know where the final 2 players are hanging out. Maybe if Fired Up wins this fight, we might be on something, but he doesn't. The AWP takes out Finn. There you have another round for SGGT after the timeout as well. God's Reign have not really given us anything to be impressed with, so starting to get ever so slightly touchy. I think still a couple more rifle rounds required before we really worry, but SGGT are stepping their game up pretty significantly.
This game's getting close, or closer, I think, than God's Reign would have wanted, especially considering now they don't have a buy. This is a weird situation, though, for God's Reign. They're just completely falling apart. And I think the way for them to go about this, and this is the thing they haven't been doing very well, is that they just need to get aggressive. I think they need to be up in their face. At the moment, they're sitting back on the sites, and SGGT are just running in, and they're just trading. It's super simple Counter-Strike.
Okay. Hold on. Harvey's crept forwards, found a double kill on the 5-7. So this is unfortunately a bit of a trend that we've seen from God's Reign on these crazy aggressive eco rounds. They have found some pretty decent success, but look at where Lame is at. He's in behind. Could be the hero to save the round. Yeah. Play the trigger discipline. That's exactly what you got to do. Spotting out 3. Can he find all 3? Not quite, but he set it up. And now I think this isolated player is going to struggle. What?
No.
What? Finn just found the double kill. You've got to be joking. They knew where he was at. Oh my god, I don't believe it. It's a 1v1 to save the game. Fake out coming in. Barbie not moving here. He is playing the game of chicken. Oh, pretty successfully. They're walking into each other inside the smoke. Surely one of them's got to notice that. Barbie moving out, though, knows what's up. And he will take it. Oh my goodness. The 5-7. An absolute menace. There's no way Finn gets that double kill, man. That's so insane, bro.
They know where he is.
I don't believe it. Surely one guy, you just got to pre-fire. You just got to swing in there, get it pre-fired, he's gone. But,
oh, man. Crazy. I can't believe it.
They must have thought it was like the other pillar, playing against the same teams over and over. within your own very, very, very specific part of the Counter-Strike scene.
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, you do have to do a bit of learning of how to play a much more solid game in general, right? Rather than just doing what works for you domestically. Sure. So I'll be curious here. Again, was a very, very tough finish for SGGT, and that can have pretty massive knock-on effects for next game. They are starting to here as well. So we'll see if they can make this work. A lot of pressure towards A early on.
Okay. Up close, Revan. There's Julie's. It's sort of an angle. The flash goes a little too deep, or they just contact. I was going to say, should have the advantage, but both just caught pants around their ankles. That is a very quick start towards Mirage. They flood A, and that should be the round already.
Looks likely. We'll see if the USPs can bring anything back. Rotating players, of course, going to be well known about now. Both of them tagged down ever so slightly. Flanks coming in as well. Just need some crazy headshots. Doesn't happen for Finn there. Barbie also only capable of one. So the 4K in for lame is a great start and a brilliant move here. Brilliant bounce back. As we were talking about exactly what is required for SGGT and exactly how they start things.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we can really ask of them. Aggressive in towards those fights. And, well, first on the board, there needs to be a really consistent start coming through. God's Reign, they did go for a force earlier. They've been pretty good when the low buys out. It does normally require something like a 5-7 or a deagle. This time, not to be. So this is a low buy. Not expecting a lot, and already Babi going to get caught.
Yeah, looking good here. Should be able to clean up house. Do have to be a bit careful. Bombs dropped quite far away from the players at the moment. Fired up goes unchecked. Not long for this world, but any kill is going to be good here. Been caught from behind. It's a difficult spray down for Zingy, but he still wins out the fight. Just R2B2, our guy. Can't get anything done. He will go down. So rolling through the motions, but an early rifle round out. God's Reign maybe a little against the grain here, actually, because we saw a number of force buys over on Anubis. They bring in a different kind of energy here tonight.
Yeah. I like the early gun round decision. I mean, I'm always going to be a fan of it, but I think specifically here with get absolutely nothing in the first round, there's just no real point for me. So let's see what they can do when the rifles coming towards play. They might be a little thin in terms of util, unless somebody dips in towards a FAMAS, for example. And there we go. We see exactly that. Bavi goes towards the FAMAS out of the smoke molly flash. Nice and simple. Bit of a play out in towards mid. I do like seeing God's Reign fight for this mid control. It's the one thing that worried me a little bit in towards Anubis. I touched it in the pre-map. So AGG do look pretty good though at the gates. These have been some nice, quick, aggressive rounds taken to start off their T side, and that's all you can ask of them. I still want to see God's Reign though. If they want to chance this, I feel like they've got to get bare minimum 5 on this CT.
Yeah, you would say so. Aggressive mid control coming in from SGGT here. Really fast, almost no resistance to it either. B2, wrong angle for him. Gets absolutely flattened. Will be an A hit though, and they just have a severe lack of information here on the God's Reign side. Barbie, yep, goes in for the peak, loses his life because of it. Revan has got a kill, but he's been revealed in doing so, and very quickly it's down to the 4 versus 2 here. Will be a save angle, one would assume, from God's Reign. No kills present themselves, so damn. SGGT coming in with a mission here.
We'll see. God's Reign have got a way to sort of counter this early part of this game, which has gone so well. Awkward spot, though. I mean, the save should be successful. I say that just because there's a little bit of a move over. You can see Defin and Lame are in that direction. If they go quick now, they could have a little fight right at the end here. Same one jumped into a shore. Yeah, they're hunting. This is a big hunt. In fact, this could be potentially quite expensive if one more was to fall. Uh-oh. Yeah, caught off guard. He didn't need to fight there. I think Fired Up should have stayed head tucked, and unfortunately, just showing his presence, he just got swung upon. There's 3 different angles to fight from. Not to be. Only the 1 gun save for Finn. Not really going to be too much of a buy here. So SGGT going to find 3, and then, well, the 4th should come relatively easily too.
All right, we'll see. Bomb once again dropped behind. Seems to be a bit of a common trend for SGGT. Might be an issue for them in future rounds. But hopefully this one runs smoothly. Finn on that M4 reveals himself early. Not much coming at the moment. SGGT maybe learning their lessons against the half-buys and whatnot. Playing a pretty passive default here to just see if any aggression does come their way. Re-aggress towards mid. Attempting once again to take this all-important control, and once again they should have it without resistance.
Heading towards mid, Molly and smoking towards top of Con. And that'll give them the control, nice and simply. R2D2 close. Yeah, he gets caught. That was probably the only contingency plan. The 5.7s are relatively effective in the right hand, but this time not to be. Finn left all alone once again. In a 1v4 turn, 1v3, not to be. 4-0, a completely different SGGT siding towards Mirage. Where was this on Anubis?
Indeed. I mean, it is a very fair question, so it's tough to ultimately say. I think that there is a lot to look out for this team, and just trying to figure out again where their heads are at. It does feel immediately there's a lot more confidence here on this map. I mean, as we touched on though, CT side of God's Reign really did leave a lot to be desired. Maybe that is once again going to be the case here on Mirage. There is some proactivity. You wanted to see some of this from God's Reign. They get up through middle and they will scare away SGGT. Again, got to be able to do something with this control. However, they're ready for the B hit. But you're never ready enough, ultimately. Flash is going to come round, fired up, hidden away on default. Can't really find anything B2 as well. They know where he's at. Bomb is going to go chasing him, so just got to be careful there. He aims to stay alive, unfortunately unable to find success off the back of it, and just relentless aggression from SGGT is proving to be enough right now.
Loving this. Really am. SGGT looks so good in comparison to what we saw in towards map number 1, and it is all just down to aggression. And a similar thing about for God's Reign, we saw, at least we got the early insights of what looks like some slightly worrying signs, right? You know, there was definitely some issues that we had seen in towards Anubis when we saw that cosmetic come back. We were saying, hang on here, like, you know, maybe even it could have been a lot bit closer if it wasn't for the eco and the half buy and this, that, and the other. So, God's Reign, those worries that we just briefly saw in towards map number 1 are started actually to show in their full force here on the opponent's map pick. A flawless one taken by SGGT. Damaged out, of course, but doesn't make too much of a difference then. They are building up quite the repertoire here in the C side, and they've got so much money left in the reserve. So if things go wrong, they're not going to be broken. That was the big issue for them that we saw in that kind of first map, is that when they would find a round finally, they would lose the next, so their economy just gets shattered, and then they would end up being a really awkward spot. This is not the case anymore.
Nade's been spammed through middle once again. God's Reign keeping eyes on middle. I think they know that this is going to be a real pressure point throughout this map. A little bit of a creep around these smokes here. Lame checking many angles, but no heads presenting themselves just yet. Oh, they have managed to get this mid control. SGGT doing a really good job, I think, of mixing things up in terms of their pace and in terms of their game plan. It's a nice blow of the smoke. It's a 1-for-1 trade. CTs will take that. Hopefully someone around to recover that weapon. Meanwhile, good timing push from Revan. Finds them the upper hand. Finn, okay. Baiting out his teammate a little bit, but he makes it work. Down to just 2 now for the T side. One of which being the AWP. Still got the bomb in hand. Zingy with a quick one. 5-7 comes around for a dink, but not the kill. It is once again getting chaotic here. The T's have split up reluctantly, and they don't really know where to go.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Slightly awkward spot. Revan's got that AK. That's the big thing I'm looking at, but even still, B2, 5/7 half armor, full HP. Against how low Sanj and Zingy are. Does feel like a chance Zingy gonna get caught. That AK, good for the first. Knows where the second is. There's an 8 coming over as well. Nade is perfect as it lands on towards Sanj, and that will be that. 5-1. Finally, God's Reign find a round, but it has to be one of many. We've already sort of touched on this, and we cannot afford to let this be a flash in the pan. That was the big thing that killed the any sort of momentum that was potentially there for SGGT in towards Anubis, was they would find one, lose the next 2 or 3.
Okay, let's see. Really, really key turning point here. God's Reign need to give us a few, like you say. They absolutely have to turn that into something. Once again, have managed to get it done on the unlikely round. Seems to be their bread and butter. Okay. Devon. Quicker to the mark than the AWP. Absolutely ruined. Well read. Well fought. And now just down to 4. Barbie in towards Dark. Got no support. Gets absolutely flattened. And it just continues. SGGT, I think they knew they had this available to them. That it's like, okay, if we lose out a round, we can just turn it on. Quick A execute. And God's Reign not fast enough, man. The reaction's just not there.
Every single time, it feels like there's maybe an opportunity for God's Reign. Just like this one. It gets put right back in their face. Tough to see. B2 fired up. Even saving here feels quite unlikely. They're being swarmed. There's an idea to go checking. Oh, that's unfortunate. Fired up was holding for it. He basically just costs B2 his life. That's really tough. But I've 1 AK saved. We do have money, which I guess is okay. I mean, Fired Up can drop 1 or a couple over, actually. He's got all the investment he needs, kit, util, so he can drop a couple over, worst case. And Revan can drop 1 over with still picking up an AWP. So it's not the end of the world, but this is not a good showing at all. God's Reign look like a completely different side to what we saw in towards map number 1. And surely some point soon we call for a pause and just once again take a breather and say, you know, what's going wrong? How are we going to get in towards this game? Because it's 6-1 already. If SGGT find even just 1 more round, that is a fantastic T-side of Mirage.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, quick pace coming in. We will see the double up setup finding success, however. They are desperate here, but Revan seems to be having a round as he finds 4 in 4 bullets. That's insanely quick. They just did not know how to handle it. That's what can happen, I suppose, with the aggression, as it does get out of hand quickly. One of the ways, indeed, again, God's Reign are able to snatch up a round is off the back of the madness. Revan doubles his kill count in that round. We are looking at a couple players here to pick up the pieces, but maybe the double up setup is going to be the change-up they require.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Especially with Zingy having one of his own. He's actually having a pretty good game as well, Zingy. So far, he didn't do a hell of a lot in towards that kind of first map in 12 and 16. So it's an okay showing, but yeah, still a negative overall is not what you want to see. Revan playing out towards ladder. Will now post up, holding over towards the Alpan. Sanj makes a move under. This time a little weird because we're not seeing that mid-control taken from SGGT in a really aggressive manner as they've been doing, and we're not seeing God's Reign fight for it too early. Both playing quite passive, so it's about who spots out who first. Finn has an opportunity, but slowly misses it. Oh, head spotted, and Revan gets double dinked.
Big kill. SGGT back in the driver's seat here. Could be exactly what they need. Lame creeping out the smoke here. Will catch Fired Up in transition. And that's got to be that. 5 versus 3. No hope, no chance, no position on A. So they will indeed save. SGGT do it again. God's Reign cannot string them together.
3 saving, it's okay. If 3 stay alive, it means they can drop in towards the next spot. Any less, and it will definitely change that. I think, at least for the moment, it feels like they're going to be given a luxury. I say that, they all have to fight for this, and R2B2 going to get caught. And hope for Bavi. Finn with an M4. They'd love to keep both of these alive at the bare minimum. Finn, he get checked here. Yes, he will, but he wins out his fight. Both him and Bavi are super low. Just one bullet is the difference maker, and it's the AWP of Zingy. He does exactly that. AWP of Bavi will stay alive. No, it won't. The last second HE sees him off. He was so low. And that is so unfortunate. And things go from bad to worse. God's Reign, yeah, all over the spot here.
Yeah, man, it's really not a good look. Really not a good look for them. I think they are, again, severely struggling on this CT side. Remains an issue for them, whether it is the map. But I don't know, man. Honestly, like, Anubis, the gun rounds did not look good on this CTN. So I think it is a proper issue for them. They just cannot deal with the relentless aggression. Maybe those initial protocols in particular are easily abusable. Nice position for Bavi. Can't quite get it done. He set a couple of them up, though. Gathered a lot of info and just distracted the majority of the T side. So, SGGT, at least this is something that is kind of falling flat for them, is the fact that the rushes, the quick rounds, are just falling apart at the seams now. Zingy could still clutch it up. He's got to recover that bomb, though. It's absolutely miles away.
It was quiet for a brief moment as well. This 1 versus 2 is Zingy. He's got the right idea, but this is not easy. Not with an AWP, at the very least. If you had a rifle, you could probably do a better job of isolating. Oh my god, it's so scrappy, but thankfully. Oh, a sigh of relief is God's Reign. See that round over. If they can make a 7-5 out of this, I think we could potentially working with something. Any less, though, it could be really awkward. I mean, this is ultimately, I think, statistically at the moment, I think it's still regarded the second most CT-sided map in the pool. So any less would still be very, very uncomfortable. But it's better than nothing. Obviously, we had a 10-2 in towards that first map. And it's still not quite as bad as that. See a pause, but unfortunately, not a attack pause. This is a technical nature. Hopefully, one fixed briefly. It's good though for God's Reign to find that, especially in those sort of clutch moments. They've struggled when it's come down to the 2v2s, the 3v3s, 1v2s like that. So, see they're over the line will help a lot. We'll have a slight knock-on effect towards the buy of SGGT as well. We got an AK out and an AWP out. Great, but then it's a Mac 10 double tech 9. Lose this, and their money shattered. That could be that God's Reign 5th.
Very possible. Very possible. So another key round. God's Reign have unfortunately not quite been able to get these ones over the line. Aid does decent damage. Fired up. Ooh, with the spot. Actually gets tagged. So they're going to chase him down. He does have support, of course. And R2B2 doing a decent job. That's an aggressive swing. He makes it work. Mac 10 gets the better of his teammate, but he will remain alive. Really big round coming in. We just have to back him now. It is that 3 versus 2. So what is the question here? How do they roll around looking to exit things here on the SGGT team?
I wouldn't say it's an impossible round, though. I mean, for example, if they were to step it up and go quick towards A, we can talk about a setup here. Molly and a flash as well. Can I say some angles, but they're going very slowly. I mean, they have absolutely no information about, has there been a mid-push? Has somebody started wrapping behind us? Is somebody in towards Palace, for example? As that sort of anchor. Or are those B players who we've just lost out a major fight to, have they actually gone for an early rotate off the back of our lack of information? Finn, he's making a move. Keep looking in towards connector. He looks away. So they just walk up connector for free. Finn goes in towards ladder. That's probably not the way you want to be playing this, but now Molotov down, and they are still so set on thinking this is having to be a B play. They're giving the bomb plant, even though it was planted for sure. R2B2 can't deny it. It's given Husky the chance. And a 1 versus 2 here. Looks for the first. He might just get it. And he will. This has been played quite poorly from God's Reign. I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, this is looking really rough. For sure, USP is out. Got to pick up the speed because no kit available. Player spotted. AK picked up. Tap on the bomb. Swing comes in and they're going to lose out on the fight. Man alive. After such a heroic defense of that B bomb site, they will drop the round. Haskia just absolutely fries them. Steals that one away. Really, really, really messy stuff from God's Reign, it has to be said.
Yeah, that you can't really put it any other way bar than just saying that's quite a woefully played round. I mean, all the way throughout, they were so dead set on that kind of B hold, which I think after there's been that lack of information, you probably want to have at least one just going to look over towards A, you know, whether you're sitting CT or something of the sort, but it's really badly played and it's not going to get any better as well. They're just being pulled apart. God's Reign have had a really bad half here, especially in comparison to that Anubis, and I don't know if it's going to be fixed. I mean, Firearm's got a double, sure, but he's tagged, and Sanji and Defin have both still got full HP. But that previous round, that has absolutely killed them. They win that, and we're talking about the potential of making a half out of this, and potentially even looking in towards this map and still trying to recover it, but I don't think there's a chance it. At a 9-3 half, I mean, I don't really see Fired Up winning this. At the same time as well, I'm still, you know, puzzled even here. What are we clearing, right? He knows where both of them are because of the util they threw. So he should know that they're both on towards the site. He's clearing everything. He's gone for the worst of gun. Now he goes back to the FAMAS. I mean, this is scrappy. This is a panic here. He's clearing everything, but he has absolutely no idea, even though he should know how at least one of them is set up. Definitely now up the AWP in towards CT. Tapped down. He knows where both are. No chance in this one, even with a kit. And that is going to be the round. 8-4, 8-3, now to 9-3, may I say, and the fourth just to lose God's Reign. Should have gone in the last round. That would have broken the economy. Then could have been a fifth, but it's not to be. It's a scrappy, scrappy half, and I think one they'll be quite upset with. They've got 3 minutes at least to talk about how we're going to recover on towards the seaside, but we'll have to see if they can after the break. Alrighty, welcome back. I think the safe way of putting it that was quite a lackluster showing up from God's Reign. I mean, those final 2 rounds in particular were pretty woefully played, and I don't know, it just feels like even though they do, it feels like they just don't play this map. They just don't understand how the setups are working, or the rotations, or the timings, and they just feel very, very much all over the place. I think SGGT haven't really had to do all too much in towards this map, and they've actually made it look quite comfortable. I mean, a 9-3 half is never a good showing, especially on a map which is CT-sided, and SGGT did it on the T. So, I don't know how you're feeling about this one, Scriv, but I'm not too hopeful. And this could be a bad sign as well, because we were saying Anubis is quite akin to Mirage, generally speaking, because it's quite puggy, but Inferno is very, very akin towards Mirage in terms of being quite puggy. So if this is how things are now, I'm not feeling too hopeful for God's Reign.
No, I'd be inclined to agree. I think that this is a pretty difficult spot to be in, but they, again, maybe had a few moments that looked workable, if I am to be the nice guy of the duo, let's say. But also, yeah, anyone sort of worth their salt watching the game, some really questionable rounds. In all fairness, SGGT, they had a few of those on Anubis themselves. So I think if we were looking at a closer affair, potentially I could see the God's Reign T side taking off as it did on Anubis. But
Yeah.
I just don't know that it's necessarily going to happen here. Unfortunately, there's a good number of problems in this team, and like you say, yeah, a lack of comfortability. If you're just getting rushed down on your CT side, it's just crazy. You know, like
Yeah, it's
I
true.
think you really have to look internally there and be like, right, our protocols are all over the place. We should be able to match up here. We should be able to stop them, at least bring it close. And they were just getting rolled over for quite a while. They did eventually figure it out, but even then it felt pretty inconsistent. And then they'd lose their like clutch moments. So yeah, it's a wild ride.
It is. Seems like we're in a bit of a tech pause, I'm assuming. You know, off the back of this halftime break, who knows what it is. It does look like, you know, everyone's just like, there we go. Got the round reset. We got the match medic and all the rest. So hopefully only a brief pause, and we can get things back underway. But 9-3, SGGT, they found a pistol, and I think it is curtains in this one. I think we're heading towards that map number 3 and starting to talk about what things are going to look like for them on Inferno. And I think a lot of us probably, especially after how this Mirage have gone, would say that maybe SGGT have the slight advantage. But really, really weird game from God's Reign. They've just completely fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah, man. Really had too much to do that, to be honest. So going to need a key turnaround here. The same thing about SGGT. It did start well for them. They let a few of those questionable rounds get to them. So God's Reign clearly got an idea here. They've had plenty of time to pull over it as well. Yeah. Simple flashes are good. They go early here, though, and Zingy will find 2. Stepping up on the boost is enough, it would seem, and now there's just too many numbers. It has been brought back ever so slightly. It's all going to be on Revan. 1 versus 1. Low HP for Sanj. Could definitely do this. They're just looking to fight each other. Revan going to hide away. Oh, my goodness. That's the fadeaway shot from Sanj. Unfortunate for Revan. He was so close. If only he knew how low he was, he probably would have taken a more confident fight. Not going to happen. Double digits land, and now without the bomb plant as well, I think SGGT should be able to see this one off.
I think you're right, man. I don't even know if we can force it, if we're being honest, for God's Reign. With a bomb plant, we could have, but I think in this situation, we probably have to just go for that lower buy and sadly just say, that's that in this one. And that's going to be the case, right? No investment coming through, no armor, util, upgrade a pistol, or anything of the sort. It will be, I guess, fundamentally quite a simple one. Ultimately, in that case. What a showing, though, from SGGT. They continue to look so damn good. They continue to showcase what they've got in the locker. Slow mid-take. Zingy first contact. First is good. Second, not too bad. Gets spotted the MP9. Nice and simple shutdown in towards mid. All you can really ask of them.
Indeed, does feel that way. Really quite a solid look here. Any kills coming in for the T side would indeed be nice, but it's not going to happen. So that will indeed be that. 11 comes up. God's Reign now have the weight of the world on their shoulders here for this recovery.
Okay. Well, this gun round got it all to show. God's Reign want any chances now or never. Lose this, and it's, you know, a force buy basically with 12 on the board. Unfortunately, it's been quite a, difficult game to commentate in the sense of there's just nothing from God's Reign, unfortunately. So we can't even talk about narratives of how they get in towards this game, because even the advantages they've had, like 2v4s and 3v2s, they're not seeing them over in their favor. It's tough. So even though this is a kind of a low buyout, or say GG is this bonus buy, you still think they might have a chance behind this. Revan good for the first, though. The MP9 will tuck his head in towards connectors. Doesn't want to stick around too much. Babby going to get caught. Fired up. What are we doing? He was stepping the whole way. Runs out of ammo. That's so unfortunate for Zingy. And then Revan is super low in this spot. MP9 spots one. The team kill comes through from Finn. What is happening here?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. We're in the 1v1, and Finn gonna win it. Oh my goodness. 4K from Finn. Just can't stop fragging, apparently. Absolutely insane behavior, but they will manage to take it and just about keep themselves alive here. I don't know, though. They can't be banking on more and more rounds like that, one would assume. Just insane.
One of the rounds of all time, and not a good one, but yeah, we'll take it. Team kills and massive oversight. I mean, fired up, but huge out when he's hearing him stepping in CT. It's honestly, the comms must have been so cluttered. If he didn't hear that, there must have been what's going on. Zingy, we're in the Molotov. He's gonna get a kill. Ow! They know he's there, but it's a scrappy fighting towards mid, and it's a flawless round from say GG. This is Counter-Strike, baby. Not good Counter-Strike, but it's Counter-Strike all the same. God's Reign, basically no money to work with as well, heading in towards what is map point at a 12-4 scoreline. Best of luck trying to convert this.
Yeah, kind of insane. Kind of insane. I don't know, man. Maybe this is the Counter-Strike that we signed up for a little bit more. Potentially how things go on Mirage, you might argue, but it does just look like, as we've been saying, God's Reign just do not have the strength on this map, unfortunately. Really wild to see, but might not be much longer. First kill comes in for the CTN. Defen will be left incredibly blind, but bomb site taken could be problematic, to be fair. Smokes are in. It's going to keep them at bay here, so it's not a bad look for God's Reign in the post plan.
Yeah, you're going to get spammed out by Revan. That's probably the round, actually, in all fairness. Both smoked out. Can't really have an inside. I mean, Zingy is completely out of there, so Molotov won't be thrown. It looked like he was going to drop it just to give him the luxury of getting away. But they've called for the save here. So God's Reign, a quick round with a low buy, works for them. There might be another M4 to pick up as well, I think. I'm right insane. It could be a little upgrade. Askia does make the slight risk. Because he picks up that pistol, that might have actually been heard here by Bavi. Hence why he's having a little look in. He's been spotted. Oh my god, this is really weird. Yeah, brought him out, back 10. Gonna go and fight at the end. Doesn't know where to look. It's a bad angle from Haskia as well, has to be said. He could be exposed to two different fights, and he picked kind of neither of them. Deer in headlights, didn't know where to look. Doesn't work out. God's Reign, stay alive. Just about.
Just about, indeed, I think is kind of the key thing. Very, very difficult to say here on the God's Reign side whether they'll be able to really give us anything rolling forwards, or if this is, again, just a few sporadic rounds. We do have that Inferno coming up next. I think it would be interesting to see these two teams battle it out on Inferno. Not really a map played by either of them, so yeah, could get scrappy once again.
In towards mid. That control taken. We're not opting to fight for it here, say GG. They're going to quite happily just give it up in a sense. Pop Flash comes over for a little information peek, but just as it pops, the smoke goes down as well. I don't really think Lame did get anything. However, with that smoke, it's not a gap just yet, but as it starts to dissipate, could actually be a bit of a problem. They do try and push short. Where are we going? We've got mid control now, which is great. Boosting towards mid seems to be the play. Bavi going to go up. Should be being held, but Lame was just completely asleep at the wheel there.
Yeah, kind of wild. Maybe going to punish them here because of it. Defen hanging out at the back end of B. Needs to go massive. Molotov going to push him forwards. Clean frag on the first, but traded instantly. And that surely has to be that. Save will come round from SGGT.
Oh, all right. Zingy gets fired up. 1v2. It's not out of the cards here. I mean, Revan's kind of messing around trying to pick up guns and go to the AK. They've got a kit to work with. They've got a couple of smokes. This is definitely not impossible. Tapping down and he loses his fight as well. SGGT are going to close out the map. Just like that. We stay afloat in this series. We go towards that map number 3. But, I mean, it has to be said, right, from God's Reign, what a change in terms of how they approach this game. They were so good in towards Anubis and then so poor on towards Mirage. And with momentum and all the rest, maybe the expectation is that heading in towards Inferno, that it's actually SGGT who have this advantage.
Yeah, potentially, man.
Then who knows as well. And I think, getting that preferential start, Inferno is one of those maps where there's arguments to what is the preferential start, even though it's like 52% CT sided, right? So you can make the argument saying the CT side is the best start, but a lot of teams actually do prefer T side Inferno because of the pace that you can kind of set on it and dictating the tempo. And it will be a CT side start out for, say, GG, which worked out for them well in towards Mirage. So let's see how this one pans out. But God's Reign made a completely different showing because that was rough.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I think a key change is going to be required here. Inferno, you feel like, is that baseline map that at this point, it's been in so long, it didn't really have too many changes coming into CS2, so but the same can be said about Mirage, and they looked weak there. Defen going to be the first one to see some action, it seems. Just on the crack angle. Oh, takes a headshot. Lucky to be alive there, just out of range on those Glocks. He will drop the smoke. They call for the rotation. It puts a real crimp in the God's Reign plan.
You can already position off the back of that tag, and that's what it was to do. But what commitment, though, from God's Reign? Looks like they're pulling away. And so will Lame. He's going to rotate back over towards CT. He's now towards A. Fired up, sticking around towards B, and actually that might pull Lame over, but down towards one. Steps, he's tapping, he will get one. That's good work. Looking for another. Molotov over. Sanji does have to go kind of huge here, and he's got to get it. Looks for a second. He can't do that. It's really scrappy. P2K on the side. Zingy's got yet another. He's doing pretty good work to keep them locked in. Zingy, big 3K from him. First through the smoke, the other two he lines up. It's wonderful stuff. Say GG. Draw first blood here in map 3.
Yeah, man, really solid look from them once again. Not a massive amount of competition, denying the bomb plant away. It is a perfect way to pick up where you left off. I think an incredibly strong showing. What they ordered. God's Reign, you can see a little bit of attitude there. It is a small thing, but, just a slight bit of getting the tilt out without maybe shouting at your teammates or something like that. Hard eco here, of course. No expense at all for God's Reign. They will lose the first couple of kills. Nothing crazy happening. Some fights at range going down. Money being made, but this looks very good once again for SGGT.
Defen. Him and Haskill will go and hunt down R2B2. The last man. That Glock, it's close, but yeah, no, it's a flawless round. Very, very simply taken. And yeah, ultimately, very easy couple of rounds taken by SGGT, if we're being completely honest. Will be a gun round coming through, though. No buy-in towards that, which is good to see. They didn't get a bomb plant, so they couldn't really afford to do so. So now we've got to see, what have we got to lock up here? This is a side who have been struggling since map number 1. Nothing has been on offer. Surely something's got to give. We've got to see a bit of a change, and this first gun round is the perfect place to do so, especially considering it's quad MP9 on the other side.
Okay. Should be a chance for them to capitalise then. Must be a criminal round to get away with. SGGT playing into the hands of the MP9s. They may be thinking he was back. Oh my goodness. R2 does well to stay alive there, especially that second fight. He was already pretty low. Gonna be down to the only M4 in the round to try and conjure something up here. Easy frag. The rest of them are quite hard and he can't get it done, so I don't know about saving MP9s, but maybe this just feels impossible. You might as well. They have been severely punished for their cheekiness, though.
I like the idea, I guess, is probably one way of going about it. I think with the MP9s, you do want to try and get active, but that one didn't work out for them. It didn't go, I think, the way that they would have intended or hoped. So, yeah, double save the MP9. It's probably just a mental thing, right? I was saying, like, you know, we're so used to saving in these situations. Let's just see if we can get something working. But either way, God's right. We'll find there first. First of many, I think, is probably the main question. We'll have to see. But SGGT, they're going to have a buy coming back in off the back. I just wonder how they're going to utilize those saved MP9s, how they're actually going to make it kind of worthwhile off the back of the save. You've got to do something a little different to make them as effective, especially on a map like Inferno. And the idea of going in towards... Oh, well, hold on that thought for a second. We have lost... But, yeah, you know, you've got to try and do something a little different to get them utilized properly. And how are we going to do that is probably the big question for me. The apps play was a nice idea, but the fact that it failed then, they might try and change it up. But it's how do we change it up?
Well, indeed. I think they have to figure that one out quickly as well. So, kind of banking on them really coming together on this CT side. It's a very, very cheeky round, man, and they may well be punished for it, but in the same vein, you give your opponents this kind of false sense of security.
Yeah.
I think it is safe to say. So God's Reign also have to be kind of careful and also keep things original. So obviously a bit more technical in nature here. Maybe through the tactical timeout up, hopefully. And it wasn't quite the case, but we are indeed back into the action. It would seem a couple players... Okay, I was going to say, yeah, a couple players on that SGGT team not actually brought up quite yet. So just a quick reset, it would appear. Make sure everything is all good. Still not quite having the buys up, so I'm not quite sure. Okay. Just late with the buys, I guess, keeping us on our toes.
There we go. Well, let's see. A 2-1 scoreline. We are back into the buy. Triple MP9 is what we've got to will. So one more MP9 picked up alongside the 2 save. Big nade on towards Finn early. Control taken in towards Banana pretty easily by SGGT, and it's those 2 MP9s that are playing up towards B. Not an easy hold with MP9s, especially if one's not boosted on towards Plant Pot. I always think Plant Pot's a good angle for a little bit of a lesser gun to try and have some favor, but going for a pretty standard setup. One towards first orange, one towards CT, and just jiggling with a smoke.
Gotta get this jump nade right. Okay. Good stuff. I've seen a couple nades go wrong in this series. Doesn't really do the damage they were looking for. Softens them up ever so slightly, but also just gives your location away that it's like, oh, 2 in Banana. Probably a relatively heavy Banana presence then, so let's get prepared for the B hit. You really need that to find success. They're going to hang around on the edge of the smoke and look to get bursting in. Another one comes round, though, so... Ooh, I don't know, man. This is risky. Molotov shot down as well. Going to soften them up. The MP9s mow them down. God's Reign felt forced into that. Still definitely had, 45 seconds, maybe just under to work with. Not a panic situation, but they play it like one, and everybody goes down. No kills returned.
Big nade onto Finn. He took the early damage in this round with a nade. Oh my god, I thought Revan could tap a couple there. Just the one. And a great round, it has to be said, out from SGGT. I mean, that was, pretty simple. Ultimately, and those MP9s do so much work. It's just the meat grinder of the B site. And a beautifully executed shutdown towards B. God's Reign, not the sort of round you'd want as well, with no bomb plant, one kill. It does have that knock-on effect. We've got a Galil, a couple of Galils that is, and a Mach 10. Yeah, awkward stuff.
God's Reign once again looking to cook something up here. Just about able to cobble it together. Zingy on the AWP, took an early shot. Didn't find anything, not sticking around, and good timing from Fired Up catches them in that transition away from brackets. In fact, Zingy then needs to keep his fragging ways going. Goodness me, it's a quick one round the corner. Sanj good for one. Zingy still alive here, needs the support, and it is not coming. I think we needed one more kill out of him to make this a doable situation for the rotating players, and once again, it might be that save angle. Yes, this is what we sort of despised about Inferno, but it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, getting into this A-bomb site, lack of utility, lack of information is really quite tough. Defen wants to stick around for it. There's just no easy kill. That's what he's looking for. Going beyond this point, they become quite difficult.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Nothing we can really do here. It is just exactly how this map plays out. The second you lose a site, you just sort of call it. Exits, even that, feel like they might be eluding. SGGT is definitely, they'll dip away. Just be careful not to over-rotate. I mean, they are kind of towards the spawn, but ultimately, double AK save, not the worst thing in the world. On the flip side, it's God's Reign, who will make it a one-round game again. So, still feels relatively competitive. And still feels like there's an understanding of what we're trying to do here for this God's Reign side. But, yeah, we're not quite seeing the idea of what we're trying to bring to the table. So GG back into the buy. Orbs off both ways too, so this is quite interesting. Zingy had a very, very good previous map.
Ooh. Nice nade. Is there some backup to join that damage? It does seem like the banana control's actually been pretty good from God's Reign. SGGT maybe not contesting super hard. They do like a 3-man B as well from the get-go. Would be the correct call once again. God's Reign, trying to mix things up as they go swinging in, denying information initially. Double Molotov, though, from the CT side to just keep them fully at bay as well as the kill. So a really nice start for the CT side.
Fired up in that little cubby. He was being held for a moment, but yeah, now we actually still is over towards Dark Zingy with that orb is posted. So once that smoke fades, Fired Up's actually in a little bit of a tough predicament. It's not an easy place to try and get out from him, but one of the reactions like for Zingy, I think, is the other side. It's a tight angle he's holding. Time ticking too. This is a B hit we're going for. 2 players here. There's a third who was going over towards an A rotate, but was pulled back. Zingy, pop shot, but miss. Askia up close, good for the first, looks for a second as well. Zingy will miss his shot, and that will allow Revan for one of his own, jumping up on top. Husky needs to be careful. Gets dropped as Revan gets his second. Third around the corner, but he misses it. All down to Finn, and look how late he is.
Yeah, I mean, low HP, they left him to hold behind. Not really much that he could do to join the fray. No time for him to do anything. Will have to hold his gun into the next. It's unfortunate, man. It was all on the AWP, wasn't it? I think if Revan hits that shot near Fountain, could have been there way back into the round, but it just doesn't happen. So some closer contested rounds for sure. Just a few kind of desperate attempts, and God's Reign. A lot of what we do on Inferno is we make noise on B, bait out that utility, and then either rotate around to A, making them think that it is B, or you double pump into B once the CTs are out of utility. God's Reign, it's too telegraphed, you know, and
It is, yeah.
they kind of throw a bit too much early, gives the game away, and SGGT, like we have seen, can keep them at bay. They can bolster up, they can launch their own utility to just force them into these unfavorable pushes and attacks.
Well, again, low buy, but that AK. Feels unlikely. They're going for a contact play, and he's caught a bit of timing, but Finn, he only gets one running out of ammo. Husky is going to get overwhelmed as well. How have God's Reign made this round actually a possibility to the point where Zingy needs to be very careful. He's the first contact here with the AWP. And against pistols, that's always a little awkward. Flash is bad too, but there's more damage to Zingy than anyone else.
Oh. Unfortunate, there was an opportunity for the lineup. Not going to happen. I think they'll be happy with the bomb plant here. One more kill would have been nice. They're not going to get it. Completely denied away by Lame and his 3-piece. He'll take the defuse as well. Get that MVP racked up for his stat track music kit, no doubt. But either way, nice round from SGGT. There was, again, a little moment of contest in there that God's Reign could have swung it. Doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
God's Reign once again. In the struggle, they are starting to fall behind.
Bit by bit, SGGT are getting closer and closer to staying alive, of course, in ESL Challenger League playoffs. But it has been, it has to be said, quite a disappointing few rounds. I mean, that's got some niceties around it, the fact that we made something out of that round, but still. All down to this. First gun fight doesn't go well for Bavi. He gets caught. That's awkward. And now, again, SGGT can just dip back on towards the site itself.
Another good start for CT camp. Trying to make a play here above this smoke. Unfortunately, no one on the other end of it. You know, it's not a bad move. I am a fan, but yeah, there's nobody around to ultimately find. And we managed to silently drop down, so they're going to move in a little ahead of time. Might not be expected here. Revan trying to take the fight. Actually wins it through the smoke. Little ridiculous. Molotov comes in from the new box player here. Haskia has to hold the line. He lands the dink, but the AK beats him to it. And thus, a man advantage. Nade goes in. Revan will go down. Not before he's got that bomb planted, however. So 3-on-3 here. Lame, quick to the party. No smoke at coffins. And it does seem like they're just not really paying this too much attention right now. He could really creep in ahead of time. They'll try and make noise and draw attention away from him. He does well for one. And yeah, now they've got to kind of deal with him. Zingy is not really helping out, but Lame is there and gets it done again. Another big retake moment coming in from Lame, and they will steal it. The post plants for God's Reign suffering.
Yeah, and this is the thing. These rounds, I mean, there's some close moments, sure, but it's just not enough. Rounds are still only going one way, 6-2. Here's the scoreline. And my God, for God's Reign, I mean, time is actually quite rapidly running out for them in this. It's been a really dicey situation for this God's Reign side, who just can't seem to put the one ultimate thing they need. They're getting kills, they're getting bomb plants, they're getting sights. They just can't get the rounds themselves. 6-2 already. I mean, SGGT 7 or more on CT side, you're sitting pretty happy, and it feels pretty likely that they'll get it.
Bavi holding for any form of aggression. Not going to overstep, though. The AWP trained, surely able to find anything that comes its way. Finn is thinking about it. He really is. He's hoping that once they make noise on A, there'll be some movement in Banana here, but Not really going to be the case just yet. Oh, there you go. MP9 moving forwards. Will win its fight, unfortunately, for Finn. The idea wasn't too bad, but nothing comes for him. Could go towards B here. Yeah, I think that's not a bad call at all, to be honest. They find that kill, they recover an AK, and the B-bomb site is super vulnerable. Whether they're able to make it there in time is, of course, the next question, but I don't know that Defen can fully stop them, and he's in a good position to gather that information and maybe, like, sneak out, deny the bomb plant, or take one kill with him. He's just going to let it happen, confirms the fact that they are on B, but again, they can cage them in B, deny them the banana control that's really important in these post plants, and it should be a doable retake.
Yeah, I do like that Devon waits for the team until he doesn't wait for the team. Thankfully, Askia can't trade. Number still good for SGGT. Will they clear? Yes. Oh my god. It's so scrappy, but I think the firepower is the big difference there. AK gets one. And that'll be the round once again. Another post plant that does not go well. Another round for SGGT. I mean, at the very least, for God's Reign, getting a bomb plant 3 kills out of that, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's okay. We can take the small wins along the line. But it is still a 5-round deficit and potentially growing too, which is, yeah, never what you want to see. This is a, it's got Red Side who are really running out of time. I think it's a simple way of putting it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Looking good here for SGGT. Zingy trained in. Ready to find this. Oh, it's a wild kind of peaked. A few too many targets for Finn. He did have the timing and snuck under. They really weren't considering him at all, but just couldn't find his bullets. So that's very much unfortunate. Very much unfortunate indeed. Where are they looking to apply pressure next? It would be towards the A side, but some advanced positions here from Lame. Revan's been spotted. Not much that he can really do now. 5v3, you just assume they stop giving the fights.
Okay. Lame. Getting active here. Could be the bomb. Will be the bomb. That's the first. Looks for a second, but hang on. Revan. He's done great work. Still, the numbers don't favor God's Reign, but there's a chance here towards the A site, and it's, you know, Defin's still a little slow on his rotate over. I think now that they've been spotted out, he should start to make the move. 1v3. Feels unlikely. Orp's got to go huge, and it's not to be. And another round goes the way of SGGT. This time, not even the bomb plant as well. We finally see attack pause out for God's Reign, but I think it's too little too late already. I mean, there's an 8-2 scoreline. Best they can do is 4 at the half. I don't know if it's going to pan out.
I mean, it wouldn't be awful, but yeah, even then, like you say, getting there is one thing. Where they're at money-wise, right? Like, everything's just kind of working against them for this comeback train, so they have to really turn it around. But it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous here. See what the timeout results in, I suppose.
True.
They have had some good timeouts, had some good energy with the timeouts, and, you know, using them wisely, but this has to be, obviously, a massive one for them. And one thing to consider here as well, folks, is that yes, it might be the start of the playoffs, but the way that the bracket works, this is technically the lower bracket, right? Because of where they placed in the regular season. So you lose this one, you are gone. You may well expect teams to have a little bit of a second chance in a double elimination, but a couple of the squads, they start off in that lower bracket side of things. Lame with the double spray down from on high. Does get caught. A little reloading. Zingy misses his shot. Sanj also going to go down. So 3 versus 3 in a bomb plant here for God's Reign.
Might be a chance. Fire up is tagged, of course, but don't count this out just yet. Might still be something to potentially work with. Definitely gone in for the big rotate. This is weird. I mean, Flash to come over. Give this a go. Bavi, good for the first. Now gives God's Reign the numbers advantage. There's surely a chance here as well. Time ticking, and it looks like maybe even SGGT, if they don't go now, they might have to just call this. And it looks like they probably are going to be doing exactly that, Zingy. Exit frags are decent, and they're very decent indeed. But Zingy's probably going to die to the bomb. Even if he starts running now, it's got a pretty big radius, and yeah, he's going to go. Or should be scooped back up, I think. Well, I guess they don't really need to. They keep the AK. They've got money, but either way, good exits. Doesn't make a grand difference. Third on the board for God's Reign. It's small victories.
Yeah, at the moment, I mean, if this is, again, the start of something, it could be worth noting around like this, but we have obviously seen this God's Reign team find the odd round, just nothing all that impressive. Zingy wanting to move towards car here. Thought the Molotov was going to stop him. Not quite the case. So now, oh, he's apprehensive. Has he been seen there? I think he might just have been. And Barbie finds him on the spam. Pretty solid stuff. It's a great opening frag.
Can't complain. Can't complain at all. Lame. Oh, caught by the flash. In a bit of an awkward angle. Barbie then gets swung upon. Fired up one of his own. Shoulder spotted. And Lame goes for 2. That's big. Shuts down that long presence.
Flank comes in. Reset of the game. I think Lame's here a little faster than they would expect. He was hoping to catch the planter. He's unfortunately got his timing off. Reveals his location. Revan takes him down. So God's Reign in prime position here to give us something to be hopeful about into that second half. Fired up. Hidden away towards pit. Still confident. Taking the swings. Will be forced out by the Molotov. Haskia moving in slowly. Oh, that's a little messy. They get caught off by the crossfire, unfortunately. 8-4 at the turn of the half. As a scoreline, it is definitely workable for God's Reign. I think we'll be interested to see how things pan out into that second half, whether they can use it in their favor or if SGGT take their foot off the gas just to buy some energy for the turn of the half, of course. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few.
Well, okay. Once again, a one-sided showing, I think, is the main sort of area that we lean in. It's potentially workable, I think, is one thing. But I really do feel like God's Rain have actually got to come out towards this, get a pistol, the Force, and then probably the first gun round to really even be in for a chance. I think SGGT, they've had a lot to offer on their C sides once they've started to get going, and that's the thing that worries me a little bit. So I'm still leaning SGGT here. God's Rain, I haven't seen enough, and especially in a consistent manner, that gives me that confidence.
Yeah, no, I think that is fair enough, right? It's really going to be a telling time with how these early rounds go on the CT side of things.
Yeah.
It did feel like SGGT, again, just getting a bit stuck, right? They managed to work their way into some, 3v3s and whatnot, but some very unfavorable retakes does happen on Inferno. It's the nature of the map. That being said, God's Rain, once they shifted a bit more towards the A-bomb site, managed to hold that down better than, their B plays and hung up the B side of things. Maybe that's what they kind of talked about in that relatively late timeout. Just completely give up the idea of B. So, would be cool to know. Would be cool to know what they've been saying, but unfortunately not going to be the case for us here. Still, SGGT, obviously in a very, very good position here, and they have the likes of Zingy, the likes of Aim, ready to take over the half. There's a few weak links in the chain for that CT defense is what I'm looking at on the God's Rain side of things. Obviously a bit of a tech here. Apologies for that, but hopefully should be into the action soon.
Yeah, not too sure what said issue is, but hopefully it's one that can be concluded as soon as. And yeah, get this show on the road. It has been, though, a pretty good display ultimately from a SGGT side who have had a lot to offer up, right? I think the good thing from us is that we get to see where they have found a bit of consistency and they have got to showcase what they've got in the locker. I just want to see if they got a little bit more up their sleeve. They take a pistol here. It does feel like it could be the beginning of the end. All right. Well, Match Medic has come in, so that makes me feel like potentially we could be on track to getting this game on the road. We will hope, and we will see. But for now, we hold and wait.
Yes. We are in limbo at the moment, unfortunately. So, does happen. We've done well with the tech issues, given the fact that these guys are pretty far away, something that we mentioned at the top of the show. And for anyone that is curious, it seems they're sat on a pretty hefty 70 ping. It's playable. It's not the best. It's gonna.
I play 70 ping pretty regularly, to be fair.
I mean, I suppose, but when you really are looking at the peak of the game.
Yeah, if you're both on 70 ping though, it's sort of like it's okay.
That's also true. Yeah, it's just like it's gonna feel different,
Yeah,
when all you do is play Counter-Strike, it is gonna feel a bit different, So it's something to consider. And I know a lot of players have talked about this as well, where playing on the ping in general, when it's not 5, when it's not local, the whole game just feels completely different.
It's true. It is true. First fight, Revan, for good for one, but a flying pistol of Zingy will get that trade coming through. Fired Up still just dips back into his apartment and catches one. He now starts to try and make a move with this Glock, but he won't deny the bomb.
Too close. Oh, it's Finn that comes in. It still looks good, right? Still looks very, very good indeed. Zingy in towards pit on the Julies can happen, but he's not going to make it. So it will be the pistol coming through for God's Rain pretty well, to be honest. Yes, they can't deny the bomb plant, but numbers look good. They're able to answer pretty strongly. So SGGT going to have their work cut out from the get-go. They've got a decision to make here as well. Do we want to force with the money that we've just picked up, or are we going to take a half, or are we going to eco? It seems like they will indeed spend for it.
Yeah, I'm not too shocked to see this force come through. I mean, they've been forcing when they've had less money. It does look like they're going to sell up, though, and go for maybe a half investment buy next. But we'll see. Slow buy here, but these pistol rounds can still be a little bit uncomfortable. They still can be quite, yeah, I mean, they can be quite deadly. At least if you can get a bump on out of this, you'd take it. So, keep an eye out for it. Zingy. It's just a pixel peek as well for fired up here. Spots anything, he should drop that Uto. Does get tagged though before doing so. So at the very least, there's a little bit of a trade-off.
Could do something with it. We'll see. Nice smoke down. Good idea. Dangerous peek from Finn, but Zingy can't land the shots. Stepping in behind. Okay, that's a bit messy, but he does get it. Goodness. Just the straight spam as soon as he sees him, you know, is a risky kind of move. Could have cost him. The return frag, getting a bit scary here. Defen will get another on that Deagle. 3 versus 3. It's Revan in the pit, doing some good work, buying some time. Will eventually go down, but surely Lame not going to be able to find this. They do have to be careful. Barvy's quite low. Double swing comes in. It's a tough spot to win. Lame going to be left. 1 bullet. All that's required, but, like, this still feels a bit closer than it ever should have been. The dink even lands. R2 returns it, thank goodness. Yeah, and just taking a moment, breathing a sigh of relief. There's God's Reign. Pick up 6, but at what cost?
Yeah, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? Oh my. Very, very expensive considering the buy that we had. And now as we get the full investment coming through, it does also now look at the other side where it's arguably not as good for God's Reign. Lose this, SGGT find 9, because it has to be a reinvestment for God's Reign as well. It's really, really uncomfortable in that sense. We got to work with. I think he is taking a lot of damage to the molly there.
Just a quiet start into the round. Inferno can sometimes go like this. We do see the nades land down range to find that first. Zingy was in too deep. No one able to assist him. So God's Reign kicking things off very, very well here in the round itself, but also in the half. I think this is a fantastic look for them if they can convert this one. Deny a bomb plant as well. You know, it'd just go from good to great. Say GG. Have to figure this one out because their lead is under threat.
It is. Defen. He'll double back and he'll join up with a group over towards B. It's still 2 versus 4 on this fight. So I'm going to come up towards CT. Molotov in towards New Box. There's definitely something to work with here. And then it comes. Nade breaks open that smoke and they start to flood their way through, but it's R2B2 for the first. So for a second, he'll get it as well. Pistol pulled out, gets the support, but it's R2B2 doing it all alone. Massacre towards B, and still not even 1 casualty from God's Reign.
Dangerous look then, say GG. They've had the drop off the cliff into this T side. Oh, difficult spray down, but Lame will get it just about. I would say they'd be after him, but they're just too far away with the little time that is remaining. So he will manage to save his AK. They probably have to do some kind of a weird buy around this, I suppose. Or he's like Mac 10 in it next. Yeah, it might even have been better to just die and even everything out. Still, this is looking dangerous. This is looking very dangerous indeed. No real presence from Say GG on this T side. Timeout comes in, rightfully so here.
Yes, it needed to. I think with how dicey things have looked, we've got to pump the brakes for a second. Really awkward games of Counter-Strike that we've kind of seen in the sort of more micro sense of it. Every single map has its own sort of storylines, and they're so vastly different from each other. Map 1, one-sided, slight cosmetic comeback, but God's Reign looked comfortable all the way throughout. Map 2, Say GG, just dominant all the way throughout. And Inferno's is actually a competition here, and it's very difficult to call, especially considering now Say GG have just got 1 AK to work with and a few upgraded pistols. It's not exactly a great buy.
Zingy left low off the initial exchange. Not much coming from it. They're trying to hold on to this utility to facilitate an A play by the looks of things. Get that AK in there in particular. Finn will be the first man. Was our player to watch, and he is struggling on Inferno, it is safe to say. Having to lean on some of his other teammates to perform well. Decent nade, another chunk taken out of the T side.
Okay, B2. Holding on, waiting. Nothing offering up, but they're going to be tested in a really good standalone fight in towards that previous round. So you'd expect he might have more of the same here. The Molotov will stop the swing, though, and that leads him. Get one, dip away, Bavi for a double, with the site still taken. Not that it's really going to make a difference here, you'd expect, but a bomb plant's better than nothing.
It is indeed. Lane might be able to make something happen with this position as well. Husky getting himself into a decent push plan. Lane picks up one, looking for a little bit more. Husky will bail him out. It's all going to be down to the lone man here. 1 versus 3 ultimately. Tap onto the bomb, hold onto the bomb, smoke onto the bomb as well. He's not moving fast enough. He does well to find the kills. Unfortunately, cannot stop the defuse coming in. Nearly disastrous for God's Reign, but thank goodness for the kit and the smoke.
True. Nice and simple. All defuse and smoke. Yeah, now a tied game. 8-all. Very difficult 1-2 call. We'll have SGGT coming back into the buy. Sure, that's great for them. They've got to convert it. God's Reign are looking, for the most part, covered. The only thing, though, is that even though God's Reign are winning rounds, it is actually costing them quite a lot to win the round. So they're never building up any long-term econ. That's the one thing going for SGGT. If they win just one round, just one, it'll break that econ, break the back of God's Reign, and that gives them a chance. Swing and a fine. Revan caught napping.
Dangerous now. Fired up is alone. He's isolated. Down he goes. That's got to be the round. 5v3. The B lean. The B gamble fails for God's Reign. They definitely need this save. As you mentioned, the econ is awful, so not going to happen here. SGGT kind of going back a little bit to what they were so successful with on their T side of Mirage. It is pace. It is bursty aggression. And yeah, they, especially that second player, just completely catch him with no info, no positional advantage. Pants around his ankles for sure.
Okay. Oh. Skia. Trying to tap away towards that CT play. Might still get a chance here. Unless Lame gets to R2B2 first. But does he clear close left? It's looking like he is. Yes, he will. Not always the angle you look towards, but this time he does his due diligence. And he will get his. And Finn also just gets spammed down by Zingy. It's little scrappy Bavi stays alive. That is a nicety. That's all they really get to work with. 8-9, SGGT onto back. And like we said, just one round taken. Just the one. Completely breaks God's Reign. And this is a, prime example of it. They're not going to have the money here for the buy.
No. No, not looking good. They have to even out the econ. You can see Fired Up especially has no cash in reserve, so forced into the force. Flash is good. Barbie might create something with this. It's 1.5. 2 would have been great. Revan goes down trying to trade his teammate ultimately. Fired Up. Not a bad spot for him either. 5-7 trying to get in there. It's messy from both ends of the equation. A lot of low HP bars here. So just got to be careful. The M4 is on its way. It will be an A hit in the end for SGGT. They've got control of the site itself. But if that M4 can worm its way in, it's here quite early compared to the bomb. They will indeed get the plan, but I don't know, could really give this a solid go.
Absolutely. What have we got? Pop round B2. Look for that first contact. Just the numbers advantage for SGGT is just the big thing that's giving them the advantage in this round where God's Reign, maybe even despite the HP of Haskia and Zingy, they just don't want to test it. Zingy's going to try and exit out early, and he should be fine to get to a safe location to keep that up in play, and God's Reign have had to call it. That will be a 10th on the board for SGGT, and another tough predicament that we put ourselves into. They don't really have the money to work with, if we're being completely honest. Bavi, Revan, and Fired Up all can't get armor and a good investment. Even with the drops too, it's going to be a little awkward. So I'm not sure what I'm expecting here, but it isn't exactly a fruitful position that we're in. They took a risk, and the risk didn't pay off.
Yeah, no, it's true. Really kind of difficult spot. The money gets away from them, you know, and it is tough. It is tough. They've been performing relatively well, and then as soon as they lose one round, the money is gone. You know, it again is an aspect of the game, an aspect of that higher level of team play that maybe they just took their eyes off of, that it's like, okay, we got to manage these drops a bit better. Nice find from Fired Up. He gets the AK, he does have armor. The only issue is they've left Revan alone, and he's eco. So this rotation has to be lightning fast. They've lost a player in towards middle, bursts through the smoke as well as Revan goes, well, fully noticed. And I don't know, man. It might just be another save angle, to be honest. You've got all these guns. You don't have any utility. Yes, you've got the kit, but man down, no nades. It's just not happening, bro.
It's not. Not at all. I mean, at least having double AK and an M4 saved over is really workable in that sense, but running out of chances here, running out of time. God's Reign, this next round is everything. Lose that. I mean, thankfully, even if they lose that, they can still buy Arthur, but regardless, momentum is such a bad spot. Tough predicament. That's for sure. SGGT inching closer and closer to staying alive here in ECL Asia, and oh, for God's Reign, for them, running out of chances. On the brink of elimination, did so much in the regular season in those final few games to just about squeeze in towards the playoffs when it might be an early exit for them, unfortunately.
Yeah. Ah, man. It is tough. You know, there's flashes of moments. There's individuals that do look good here, and we saw a few nice takes towards the end of that T side, but it's just not enough consistency is the key thing, I think, for God's Reign. They've done well to make it into the playoffs. It wasn't the clearest cut. Would you say it's a surprise necessarily? I think that, you know, one of those kind of teams towards the mid-level could easily have been a Nomads, for example. You know, there really was not a lot in it. And their round differential, for example, is pretty similar to God's Reign and everything. So it is certainly possible that they could have made playoffs at the start of the season, but yeah, they just don't have that extra layer available to them, at least from what we've seen. They might be able to tap into it, of course. Keeping SGGT off of 12 is the big task here, and very, very important if you want to mount the comeback.
All right. "45 seconds. Bomb towards B. Very quiet, but look at the setup. If they were to go now, for example, it would be just before B2 and Finn rotate over. But Yuta being dropped out towards A, that will keep attention drawn. And Molotov tagging Bavi up. They're going to know he's in towards that close left. We've got to go now, though. 25 seconds. Got to make a move. There's the first. Bavi gets one. Makes it a second as well. It's a complete shutdown towards B. It's all off the back of basically one flash from Finn.
All right, fair play. God's Reign showing us that they are indeed capable of that domination. It will be the save out from Defen. Nothing coming in this round. As I said, keeping them off of 12 is the most important part, and it looks like that is going to be doable for the time being. Loads of cash available for the T side, though, so they won't be too bothered. They immediately come in with a timeout. Full respect here. Something has gone seriously wrong in that round, so they know they have to back themselves up and find this next one and make sure the God's Reign cannot contest.
Second attack pause is called. And it's good to see that because we've seen it even in the first kind of 2 maps where there just wasn't really that many attack pauses called. They were just letting things play out and hoping things would sort of change, and then they weren't. And at the very least, SGGT, they know that keeping this lead is the big thing. 11-9. Eyes up both ways. Money in reserves both ways as well. So this is going to be, especially for these final few rounds of regulation, potentially maybe and some. There's always going to be money involved. There's always going to be guns involved. That is the big thing. That's maybe where SGGT are falling a little flat.
Banana control from God's Reign once again. Gonna rotate one around. Again, maybe have to move a bit quick. The AWP, up and aggressive. Finds the middle player, gets the Molotov down as well. Really well played from Revan here to keep them at bay. Rotations coming in thick and fast. The smokes will start to dissipate. An aggressive move with the nade. Not necessarily needed just yet. You know, you're confirming locations. Making them fight back. Allowing yourself to set up this A defense. It looks pretty good. They're going to have to take some unfavorable fights. Oh, goodness. It's fallen apart, though. Just down to one in the pit. And, I mean, they cannot hold. They cannot hold. It's a quick burst out from SGGT. A load of fights that don't look good for them, but they land the shots. That's all that's needed. B2 is late, and down he will go. Looked like a perfect round for God's Reign to take.
It did. Well. Getting closer now. One more round is all that SGGT need. They are so close to this finish line, and honestly sort of deserve it. I feel this Inferno has looked very good from them. And God's Reign, they've just fallen a little bit flat. Fired Up should have a drop, I think. Yeah, so he will have a FAMAS over towards him. But a util to work with as well. It's better than nothing. They've got to make this stick. God's Reign are now playing for overtime to stay alive in ESL Challenger League Asia. A lot on the line. Pressure on this CT side.
Yeah, big pressure, man. We'll see. They gave us a really nice CT round not so long ago. So again, we know that they are capable. And they were in a good position there. Again, I don't know what it is, just maybe missing a little bit of that clear-headedness in those, tight situations. But we'll see if they can pull it out once again here. 3 rounds in a row going to be required. The same sort of move from SGGT. Maybe a bit faster from them. Finn good for one. Tracking down the AWP here. He will manage to find a frag and drop back. Revan has looked good for me in these final few rounds. Bomb snuck in towards CT. Doesn't have any support, so has to be really careful over there. Catches Barbie, but doesn't get the kill. It is a mess. It is a mess. I think that is safe to say at this current venture, but that's the way that SGGT have been liking it. They take down, fired up. The AWP also falls, and Barbie the next to join. It has again crumbled. God's Reign just cannot hold on to these situations. That's 2 in a row where, yes, it's only a 1-man advantage, but that feels like enough that you should be able to contest, and they just don't prod. They just don't consider all aspects of the T side, and they were completely unafraid on that T end of things. After a bit of a timeout, SGGT really did turn it around.
Yeah, no, it's true.